G'day, welcome to Boorman Lawyers. Today we are going to look at a middle-range drink driving offence that we appeared on in the Southport Magistrates Court.
G'day, welcome to Boorman Lawyers. My name's Josh Boorman. In this video, I just want to have a chat about a recent middle-range drink driving offence which I appeared on at the Southport Magistrates Court on the Gold Coast. This offence involved quite an elderly lady. She was around the age of 60 years of age. She actually resided most of her time in Sydney, but she had just come up to be with her elderly mother to take care of her for a couple of months. While she was up here, she took on some contract work in Brisbane. She'd come home one night, quite later in the evening. She had gotten home, had a couple of glasses of wine straight away, and then about an hour later had a third glass of wine before her elderly mother asked her to go down to the shops just to get some basic groceries for dinner and for the pantry for the household. She didn't think much of it. It was a short distance down the road. She hopped in the car. She didn't even turn her mind to the fact that she was probably over the limit due to the 3 glasses of wine that she'd had. She went down to the street, got the groceries, were coming back, and hit a random breath test. She was pulled into the breath testing bay, and she was found to actually be over the legal limit. She had a blood alcohol reading in a middle range category at 0.103. So in Queensland, the middle range category is between 0.10 right through to 0.15. So she was just at the lower end of the middle range category. But unfortunately for her, she was on a New South Wales driver's license, and this precluded her completely from being able to apply for a restricted work license in Queensland. So ultimately in court, we were trying to seek the maximum amount of leniency available for a middle range drink driving offence. And the disqualification period for a middle range drink driving offence is anywhere between 3 months as a minimum period of disqualification right through to 18 months off the road. What we had to do is we had to sit down. I had to speak to my client, discuss many issues that were going on in her life in relation to her family, her unwell mother, what she did for work, where she was living temporarily, and then most of the time while she was down in Sydney. I had to obviously go through a heap of issues about how the offence came about, and some of the more intricate objective features surrounding the offence. And then I was able to get this information and sit down and craft together some strategic oral and verbal submissions to present to the court on her behalf. Obviously, she was on a New South Wales driver's license, so she was resigned to the fact that she was going to lose her license for a period of time. It was just depending on how long a period that was for. As usual, we generally recommend our clients go along and do a traffic offenders program. There's a couple of programs that take place in Queensland, on the Gold Coast and Brisbane, and there's certainly programs in New South Wales as well. So wherever you may be located, you should be able to get in contact with a traffic offenders program. It can only assist you when your matter comes to court, and it can assist you in becoming a better driver going forward into the future. We obviously advise that our client go and do a traffic offenders program. She did the QTOP program on the Gold Coast. She successfully completed that, completed a workbook. We were able to tender that workbook and the completion certificate to the court on sentence. We were also able to explain to the court that if it wasn't for the fact that she was jurisdiction barred from applying for a Section 87 application work license due to the fact she was on a New South Wales license, and not a Queensland license, then I submitted that she would have been a prime candidate to obtain a work license, but unfortunately that's not the case. We did go into the details surrounding how the incident occurred. It was a very short distance that my client had driven down to the local shops. It was quite late at night. There was minimal traffic around, no pedestrians around. She was the only person driving at the time, and she was pulled over for the purpose of a random breath test. So there was no indication that she was driving erratically, speeding, or causing a major or further danger to other people on the road. So there was no aggravating features involving this particular incident. She was cooperative and polite with police, open and honest about how much she'd had to drink. We indicated that to the court that there was an early plea of guilty, which entitled her to a certain level of discount on sentence. And all these issues were taken into consideration by the magistrate. We obviously then discussed a little bit about who our client is. She's a mother with children. She's looking after elderly mother up on the Gold Coast here who hasn't been that well. And that's the reason why she was on the Gold Coast at the time when she was caught driving after consuming too much alcohol. We also looked into her New South Wales traffic record. We were able to obtain copies of that, tendered that to the court, and that really did work in her favour because for a lady who is almost 60 years of age, she's got an extensive traffic driving record with very minimal entries on it. So she's been driving for a long time, but it's a very good traffic record. She's never been involved in any major traffic offence before, such as drink driving like this one, which meant that I was able to turn around and use that as evidence to support my submissions and say that this offence was very much out of her normal character and how she would usually conduct herself on the roads. We were able to also obtain some character references, both from her husband down in Sydney and also her employer. And this went so far as to confirm what a good and usually responsible mother she is, and also employee and a valued employee to the company she works for. So we bundled all this evidence together, and I presented oral submissions to the court. And the magistrate at the Southport Magistrates Court was very receptive to these persuasive arguments. He did point out that he understood that she was precluded from obtaining a restricted work licence. However, he did decide to reduce the period of disqualification to the absolute minimum for 3 months for this middle-range drink driving offence. And he also issued my client with a $700 fine. But the other issue that was favourable in our client's case was that he did not record a criminal conviction on this occasion. So she can go forward into the future still remaining conviction-free. She certainly learned a lot from this whole ordeal and experience, and I think I, as well as she, is very confident that it will be a first and last time she appears before the court. Certainly, we were able to assist her in preparing the case and presenting it to the court in the right way to achieve the best possible outcome for her particular situation. Obviously, every situation is different. It needs to be decided upon on its own merits. There's obviously positive and negative features of each case that need to be handled and presented in a particular way to the court to obviously achieve the maximum amount of leniency at the court's discretion. So guys, certainly if you've been charged with a drink driving offence or a drug driving offence or any sort of criminal or traffic offence on the Gold Coast, we regularly attend the Southport Magistrates Court and also the Coolangatta Magistrates Court and all the Magistrates Courts around southeast Queensland on a regular basis. So feel free to give me a call on 1300 941 900, or alternatively go along to the website Boorman Lawyers, BOORMAN lawyers.com.au. There's heaps of information there surrounding offences, penalties, blog post videos, and all sorts of information that may relate to your particular situation. But by all means, feel free to give me a call and I can discuss how we can best prepare a case for you and best represent you when your matter comes before the court. Thanks for tuning in today, guys.